Hello, growers. Want to boost your sales, reach new customers, and streamline your sales process, all from your home office? Ready Farmer 1, my book, is your ultimate guide to making it happen. Imagine increasing your farm's revenue without ever spending a Saturday at the farmer's market. The book will show you how to create, design, and market an online farm store. Learn from real farmers sharing real stories about how they move their stores online, freeing up their weekends and increasing their sales. Get my book, Ready Farmer 1, on Amazon and transform your farm business today. In thinking about this space, based on my experience from talking to people, I think people within the regenerative agriculture space, the vegetable farming space, the things that they really put a lot of pride in are building soil, supporting local companies through purchases of compost, selling to local restaurants. I think, and this is me thinking, that there isn't as much concern for seeds, of purchasing seeds locally or really sourcing where the seeds came from. And you mentioned there that there's a lot of things people can think about or look at when they go to purchase seeds, thinking that this may be lower on the radar for people. What not should they be thinking about? What are some things to ponder when you're going out to buy seeds, whether for a vegetable operation or a microgreen operation?
So there's a few things. One thing is an awareness of how the seed system works. And I can't say I'm an expert on it, but one thing to keep in mind is when you buy seed from a seed company, you're actually, in many cases, if not all cases, depending who you're buying from, you're actually buying seed from a seed broker, which means that company is just buying that seed on the open market, on the commodity market, repackaging and selling it. Now, the bigger companies have a lot more sort of influence on what's grown, what breeding is happening. Some of the seed companies have their own breeding plans, programs. The people probably don't know about those companies as much. And there's a ton of breeding companies in the US that nobody's ever heard of, but they're the ones who would be supplying seeds to Johnny's and Osborne and other companies. And these companies do their own breeding as well. But in terms of the volume of seed you need and the expertise, basically they're buying a lot of that seed. So that's an important thing to consider as a grower, because one of the things we talk about in regenerative agriculture is adaptation. And that really applies to seed. If you're growing a seed in a certain environment for years and years and doing good selection on those plants and just saving the really good performing plants for your next seed crop, there's going to be a lot of adaptation. That within a couple of seasons, over many seasons, you get a lot of adaptation. So just because I'm buying from a seed company in the Pacific Northwest or in the Northeast, it doesn't mean that seed was grown there. And so it's hard to get to know the source of your seed, what it's been bred for, what condition it was grown in. And then it's a matter of knowing who bred that seed, who's the company behind that ultimately. And at this point, there's been so many amalgamations of seed and chemical companies. We're in the midst right now of 3 major mergers. Dow and DuPont, I believe that merger is now finalized and finished. ChemChina and Syngenta are in the process of merging and might be close to done. And we're right in the middle of Bayer and Monsanto merging. Monsanto, about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, they bought a major seed company out of Mexico. The name is totally escaping me at the moment for some reason. It'll come back to me in a second. And upon making that purchase, Monsanto basically controlled about 40% of the world's vegetable seed. And as these mergers continue, the seed is moving more along that continuum of privatization. And big companies like Monsanto, they have a lot of clout in terms of making policy and influencing government regulation. As regenerative agriculturalists, we need to think about that and really need to think about where our dollars are going. So we think about that. We want people to come to the farmers market and buy our food because we want them to support local. but we're growing that food with seed from the global market coming from anywhere. The money's going somewhere where we don't know. So it really fits into the ethic of small scale and regenerative agriculture that seed needs to be considered as part of that system. It's one of the primary inputs. You brought up soil and the other issues that we talk about a lot, but you don't have farming without your seeds. And so the fact that people maybe aren't talking about this as much as they could be is quite surprising if it's a blind spot.
Hello, growers. Protect your crops from harmful insects with Modern Growers Insectanet. This top-tier insect netting made by Modern Grower shields your plants from pests and harsh weather, boosting your yields without harmful sprays. Insectanet's unique design allows 90% of the light to pass through and is easy to use with low tunnel systems like our Quick Hoops. It's soft, elastic, and durable, perfect for field use to help ensure that your crops thrive. Say goodbye to pest damage and hello to healthier, market-ready produce. Invest in Insectanet and see the difference it makes. Get Insectanet at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.